Big adjustments are being made by President Biden to assist those who depend on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA payments. In this video, we'll explore the specifics of this fascinating invention and how it might improve your life. But first, let's speak about the potential financial benefits. Able to obtain an additional $4,800 in funding without needing to do a lot of paperwork or pass requirements, this money might be a big game. SHARE is providing you and your loved ones with much-needed help, especially during difficult times. But who precisely is eligible for this? Additional funds. Whether you're a retired individual, a person with a disability, or a veteran who has served your nation, we'll simplify it for you by outlining who qualifies and how you may ensure you receive what you deserve. The goal of Biden's proposal is to give anyone who. The distribution of this money is intended to be as simple and uncomplicated as possible. We'll lead you through the process so you know precisely what to anticipate and how to access your funds without any fuss. Let's discuss logistics now. The White House has prioritized protecting vital benefits like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and Veterans Disability Compensation. However, partisan impasse and differences regarding how to finance and oversee these programs have hampered reform attempts for years. For this reason, the new automatic payment program is a significant step forward. The administration and Democratic-Republican leaders in Congress had been negotiating for months before reaching a deal. What this new program actually entails, first and foremost, is that it establishes a mechanism for receiving direct cash payments of up to $4,800 per year into the pockets of elderly people with limited incomes and Social Security Retirement Benefits SSDI for long-term impairments or VA disability payments or SSI for the aged disabled are designed to be used as a complement to these already existing benefits in order to help cover growing prices for necessities such as food, housing, healthcare, and utilities that have increased more quickly than the cost of living. Eligibility for Social Security, SSDI, or VA payments depends on fulfilling the appropriate income and asset requirements as of the program's start date. For Social Security SSDI, individual recipients must make less than $25,000 yearly, while couples must make less than $35,000. Will be eligible for the maximum $4,800 payment amounts. After that, payments will decrease by $600 for each $1,000 over those income limits until they completely phase out above $442,000 for single recipients and $58,000 for couples receiving SSI. Recipients with assets under $2,000 and under $3,000 receive the maximum $4,800 as they. The good news is that if you presently receive Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA payments, and meet the income asset standards based on the most recent amounts on file, the process can be completed without you having to fulfill any additional requirements. The restrictions for VA disability payments are identical to Social Security income limits. Social Security SSDI recipients won't need to fill out any additional forms or applications because receiving the new cash payments will be automatic. The first $1,200 payment is scheduled to come by December 23rd of this year, and SSI and VA claimants will get additional $1,200 payments on a quarterly basis after that. Will receive their first $1,600 payment on January 1st and subsequent $1,600 installments every 6 months. If the Social Security Administration or VA no longer has your current information on file, the agencies will be distributing MIS forms in the upcoming weeks that need to be filled out. Verify 2023 income and asset levels to ascertain eligibility. Prorated payment amounts may be made to late filers for hassle-free payments following deadlines. Experts advise updating and confirming your current information online as soon as possible at ssa.gov or va.gov. Troubleshooting tools will also be accessible for anyone who may be entitled to payments, but do not automatically receive the monies for any reason. Thus, according to the White House's own projections, how big of an impact could this cash influx have? Through this initiative, approximately 25 million seniors will directly get close to $120 billion annually. Major think tanks' policy analysts for disabled people and veterans predict that it will reduce poverty among those groups by 35% on its own, lifting 8.9 million people above the federal poverty line. For many low-income households that depend on these benefits, the extra few dollars a year could mean the difference between having to make difficult decisions. Concerns paying for needs like food, housing, medical expenses, or other. Putting this much additional spending money in the hands of consumers might have enormous wider economic effects as well. Economists predict that by boosting demand, it will generate over 2 million new jobs in sectors including retail, hotel, and services. By similar to the stimulus checks given out during the COVID-19 pandemic, the cash payments in 2025 are essentially acting as an automatic stabilizer to help guard against recession. However, this program is intended to be a continuous source of support for vulnerable populations, rather than a one-time payment like that. Naturally, not everyone is on board with the idea. Republican opponents in Congress have attacked the estimated $120 billion annual cost, claiming it is insane to establish such a large-scale new entitlement program at a time when the yearly budget deficit already exceeds $1 trillion. Is only additional spending carelessly will destroy our country and leave future generations burdened with mountains of debt, it was stated. Concerns have also been raised by Senator Mike Lee about where we are expected to find $120 billion annually when we can hardly afford the safety net programs. Raised concerning the possibility of fraud, waste, and improper payment management by the Department of Veterans Affairs and Social Security Administration, two organizations that have long suffered from oversized bureaucracies and inefficiency. Critics highlight concerning problems such as the IRS's inability to appropriately disperse pandemic relief funds, indication of potential problems. Representative Jim Jordan argues, why should we just be shoveling billions to these incompetent federal agencies with no real oversight or accountability? I promise that a large portion of this money will be lost to con artists and scammers who take advantage of the holes in the system. Policy experts and advocacy groups, however, have disputed those claims, arguing that automated payments linked to current federal data on income assets reduce fraud risks and increase the likelihood that funds end up in the right hands as opposed to programs that call for new applications and vetting procedures. Have maintained that the payment levels themselves are still too low to have a truly revolutionary effect on reducing poverty. They assert that an additional $4,800 will only give most beneficiaries 10 brief respite from financial stress because average rent and healthcare prices are still skyrocketing. Here's a step. According to Raheem Thompson of the Center for Poverty Solutions, it's really just a Band-Aid solution, but it's a step in the right direction. To really address senior poverty and disability poverty, we need these payments to be closer to $10,000, $12,000 annually indexed to real cost of living increases. Advocates for disability have also criticized the program for only incorporating those with disabilities from the VA and Social Security systems, excluding millions of people who may have received housing vouchers via Medicaid, SSI, supplemental security income, and other non-Social Security disability benefits. The program's eligibility requirements are being called for to be expanded in spite of the criticism from all parties. President Biden and Democratic allies have hailed the automatic payment program as the fulfillment of a key campaign pledge to enhance financial security and quality of life for seniors, the disabled, and other vulnerable groups. This is the biggest move the White House has made in support of the program. Vice President Harris stated in public statements that since the Great Society reforms of 1960, millions of Americans would no longer have to make painful trade-offs between food, medication, rent, or other necessities. Only time will tell if the program is able to have such profound effects once payments start to come in during the latter half of 2023 and early 2024. But for individuals who are eligible, the additional funds could be extremely helpful during this time of economic uncertainty and inflation pressure. Please make sure you are eligible for Watch for the first payments to hit bank accounts before the end of the year. This video guide will be updated with any new instructions or changes as the automatic payments based on the specified criteria update. Any outdated information with the relevant federal agency's deployment is ongoing. First and foremost, potential receivers of President Biden's new automatic payments plan should be aware of numerous other crucial elements and rules surrounding it, even if the financial figures and anticipated effects have received the majority of media attention. The Congress-approved Act stipulates that these payments are regarded as supplemental income because they won't be included in calculations of earnings or assets that might potentially lower a person's current benefits from programs such as Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Virginia, Medicaid, SNAP food stamps, or other need-based federal programs.